Let's give him a round of applause. He was working here today. And if you want to turn up here, just let us know. We can work it in. You know.
Good morning. You know, I'm one of these people that like things to be organized. And this morning, in getting the videos downloaded on the computer, the ones from YouTube, you could hear the voices, but it was actually the video was showing it from a different person. So the video wasn't matched with any of the
video
people.
wasn't matched.
And of course, last minute things like that for me are always great. However, I did have the disc with me, so there might be a couple little glitches on some of the videos, but
it's always my fault.
We're getting back to the series that we started, that we've been taking the information out of a book called Kingdom Ethics by Stassen. And it focuses on the Beatitudes and the Sermon on the Mount. And one of the things about the Sermon on the Mount is that according to Stassen, it's often been ignored because it seems like a series of hard sayings, or it's been misinterpreted by many traditions in the church. And he makes the comment that evasion results in, how should I phrase that? He puts it as malformed Christian moral practices, moral beliefs, and moral witness. He states that in his preface. He comes from the aspect that there's a lot in the Sermon on the Mount that can be practically applied to a person's life. But there's a lot of things in there that we can do. And it's not a series of high ideals that we look at and say, wow, I can't possibly measure up to that. But rather some practical applications. We also walk through it broadly on just war theory and just peacemaking. How do we as Christians respond to the call for war? And in just peacemaking, it's more the way of Jesus. It's seeking reconciliation. If you have a dispute with someone, to try and resolve it. But in this world, we're not perfect people, and it doesn't always work, but we can at least try. 3 weeks ago, we talked about many of the events that are happening, bringing it down a little bit closer to our daily life. We still hear of shootings. We still hear of racial profiling, arrests based on racial profiling, bullying, domestic violence. The list just seems to go on and on. We also talked about perceptions, and we did a little experiment with the peanut butter and jelly, but we happen to have somebody that's been through this before. But the point of it was that we all make assumptions, and our perceptions come from our experiences in life, our educational level, whether we grew up in the city or grew up in the country, our economic background, and I think I said education, and the assumptions we use, and all of that stuff that we carry enters into what we perceive as the cause of a problem. If we see some problem out in society, all of that stuff that we carry influences how we see the underlying threat, the root cause of that problem, and also how we view the limits of authority. In other words, if we put people in jail for longer periods of time, it's going to end crime. So somebody that has that viewpoint has a very strong opinion of the ability of authority to be able to solve problems. And those two combined then influence the way that the discussions that we're involved in trying to solve societal ills. We also talked about Matthew and the traditional view of that it appears to be a hard saying about judgment. And what it's really saying is that we're not supposed to condemn people, because in reality, in our daily existence, we're constantly making quote-unquote judgment calls. So how can we ever get to the point of not judging? So then we moved on to what's known as a triadic, and I got to get rid of the Facebook. Triadic interpretation that comes out of Stassen. And the first two verses is really a wisdom saying, or a pithy saying, or it could be a comment on our humanity. The second, verses 3 and 4, where did 3 and 4 go?
They didn't list them in the staff.
Okay.
Then they fit with the others.
Verses 3 and 4 is kind of the vicious cycle that we get caught up in. Because we like to play the blame game. We tend to want to shift the accountability sometimes, not all the time, for our actions onto somebody else. We like, I don't know if the word like is right, but we tend to see the faults in others before we look at the faults in ourselves. And verse 5 deals with that transforming initiative in what it says, take the log out of your own eye first so you can see clearly to take the speck or the sawdust out of your neighbor's eye. Today we're looking at exploring violence in American culture. And as you read, the slide is self-explanatory, but as you read last week, we watched a Rob Bell video, and he talked about flatland. And as you read that slide, just consider the question that are we as individuals, as communities, as families, as the states that we live in, and the country, are we kind of trapped in flatland when we view the rest of the world? Sometimes don't we view the world as what we do in America transfers automatically to all the other countries and cultures in the world? And we're going to start with a little video clip, or we will attempt to start with a little video clip. And we'll start with the video clip.
Oh, it's fine.
Talking about fear, and this is going to date me, but a long time ago in a far, far away place, there was a TV show called Lost in Space. And it had this robot that walked around that said, warning, 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 warning. Anyway, now we can get the video.
Or did they? Because if you turn on the evening news, America still seems like a pretty scary place.
Is he dangerous? What's he up to?
What are you trying to pull, man?
Why are people scared?
Remember all the Y2K scares? Weren't we told that our very society was about to collapse because somebody forgot to type in a couple of digits on the computer?
There's going to be mass chaos and confusion.
Tonight, the countdown begins. All day, store director Rick Smith watched consumers get Y2K ready.
Batteries sell extremely well, the lamp oil, generators.
After sending the country into a panic, the clock struck midnight, and nothing happened. Or how about those killer bees that were going to attack America?
We're almost certain they'll arrive this year.
Schmidt expects the Africanized bees to reach Texas this year, cross into Arizona in about 2 to 3 years. He's concerned because the killer bee is overly aggressive.
They will follow you for half a mile.
The bees never came. Remember the first time you heard that someone had hidden a razor blade in an apple at Halloween? Before long, kids were not permitted to go out in the dark on Halloween and go trick-or-treating in strangers' homes.
A lot of people say they won't give out candy treats on Halloween. It's too dangerous, and they're too scared.
Well, guess what? There never was any razor blade in the apple. In fact, only 2 kids in the past 40 years have been killed by Halloween candy. And both of them were poisoned on purpose by relatives.
It was like a scene from a horror movie. This Hooksett man was mowing his lawn when a fox darted out of the woods and attacked his riding mower.
A warning about a popular weight loss supplement. What you don't know may kill you.
You ride them every day, but in an instant, an escalator can mangle you or a loved one. 7 on your side reveals why you may be riding a stairway to danger.
You might want to take some extra precautions. Keep a low profile. Don't go around dancing with a bunch of Americans in the streets. Make sure that you don't draw a lot of attention to yourself and the fact that you're American.
The nation's top doctor says 1 in 5 Americans suffer some form of mental disorder. The Surgeon General, David Satcher, pleads with people to seek help now.
The media, the corporations, the politicians have all done such a good job of scaring the American public. It's come to the point.
What's the point?
They don't need to give any reason.
Anybody resonate with that clip?
There's actually a show now called
Anybody here lock their doors? House, car, garage? Why?
They would get broken into.
Yeah, I like my garage now because somebody stole the snowblower about 5 or 6 years ago. So. But media has a big influence on us. One of the things in the book is that real crime has been trending down for many years. Yet our perception of crime has gone up 600%. Corporations use media for advertising. They want to sell us the good life. Whatever it is they're advertising gives you the good life. Marketing in corporations it has the goal of determining what a consumer wants and then giving the consumer what they want and then turning the want into a need so it becomes a must-have product. The have it your way of Burger King. And on the previous slide, Rob Bell had said, what you look for, you will find. So the question is, what we look for, will we find it? And we'll start with another